So what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Humble Warrior, back at you guys with another video. I had to make this video because, well, for two reasons. One, I had just recently saw that Tua is going to be working with the 3D QB group, which they've trained people like, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, etc., and Lamar Jackson, people like that. So. And of course, he got backlash because of his 5th year in the league, and people are wondering why he waited so late to get trained up. Now, to be fair, his first 2 years he was banged up, and then his 3rd year he had to deal with concussions back to back. So his 4th year he had to prove that he could play a full season, which is no slouch. And then this offseason now, he wants to add more to his repertoire, which I'm happy to see that. And I want to see what happens through this training ordeal. But TD Defense Talk, my brother, you said with a straight face on Twitter that CJ Stroud is the sole responsible reason why the Texans are a Super Bowl contender. I disagree, sir. Is he a part of it? Yes. He's a major component. However, look at what they did in the draft. We're just talking about the first 2 picks. They went out and got CJ. Then right behind him, they got Will Anderson Jr. Then they drafted a kid named Tank Dell, who nobody heard of, who became a stud wide receiver, along with John Mechie, Nico Collins. He also had Dameon Pierce, Dalton Schultz, who's a hell of a tight end. And he had a defense that was led by a host of players, but an aggressive defensive-minded head coach in DeMeco Ryans, who orchestrated a team that was gritty, that would fight, that would go tooth and nails, just to get the job done. And they did succeed together. I'm not going to give all that to CJ, because when CJ was hurt, I think they still actually won a game, I believe. I know they lost a game too, but I think they still won a game. And it just goes to show you, with the right coach and the right pieces put around a player, they can be successful. So I'm not here to give all that credit to CJ, because it won't make any sense. And on top of that, you got to remember now, in the offseason, they went out and got Hunter, the dude from the Vikings. They just snagged arguably one of the best receivers in the game, is Stephon Diggs. Now you pairing Diggs now, he's getting paired with Nico Collins, John Mechie, Tank Dell, who's going to be coming off an injury, and Dameon Pierce, Dalton Schultz, and CJ Stroud. So now CJ has more than enough around him to make a very, very deep playoff push. We're talking about potentially AFC championship round or potential Super Bowl. That's what we're talking about. But to say that he is the sole reason why that franchise turned around, I'm not going to agree to that. I will say that he's one of the reasons why people have tuned in more to the Texans. But let's be fair here. If they didn't put nothing around him, a.k.a. Bryce Young, and you just say, oh, well, he's the face of the franchise, he should be able to carry us, what are we talking about? What domain mindset are you using here by making that statement? Because I'm pretty sure Bryce Young would have loved to have what CJ Stroud fell into in terms of the Texans. Now, in terms of what they're saying from a playmaking standpoint, yes, a quarterback makes a huge difference, and CJ has paid dividends to their success. But that did not make them an automatic Super Bowl contender because he got drafted there. Because he could have got drafted and they could have got nothing else around him, and it would just been CJ doing it his way and not even sniffing the playoffs. Because the division is wide open with the Colts, the Jaguars, and I forgot the other team. I don't know how I keep forgetting the divisions, but I did. So that's a That's kind of an unfair statement to make. And on top of that, I think that CJ is a phenomenal talent who has a lot more to work on, who can grow a lot more. I'm hoping that he's doing it this offseason. I hope he's not resting on his morals and what he accomplished during the season and the postseason, and just going into the training camp with that mindset that, hey, you know, I'm okay. I don't have much to work on, because that in that aspect you will regress big time. So, is it fair to say that because of CJ they became a Super Bowl contender? No, it's not. Because in building any franchise or any team, you got to start with the quarterback. But if you don't put nothing around that quarterback, where is he really going? Ask Michael Vick that. Ask Peyton Manning that. We're not going to say Tom Brady, because Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick who came to New England with no expectations. There was nothing on him at all. So he was able to live in the shadows and do what he did until he became the face of the Patriots organization. But ask any quarterback that's been drafted that high and they had nothing around them to support them, ask them how that felt. Ask Ryan Leaf, who they labeled as a bust. Ask Jamarcus Russell, who they labeled as the biggest bust in NFL history. What did they put around that kid? What kind of coaching staff did they put around him? What did they do to improve his mechanics and other things that could have helped him become a better football player? What did they do? Nothing. They wanted him to rely on his athleticism and what he did in college to get him by. And nobody actually pushed him to be better. So what happened? He dropped multiple L's all, you know, his campaign, his 3-4 years there, until they finally cut him. Now CJ, once again, I think they finished the division at 10-7 or something like that. They won the division because the Jaguars choked it away. But CJ, nonetheless, I mean, he benefited from an already ready to win roster. Now he walked into a situation where he didn't have to prove that he was the guy, because if you're 2nd overall, you're gonna start. There's no damn debate in that part. You're not gonna be drafted 2nd overall to sit on the bench. The only exception to that rule, I guess you could say, was Baker Mayfield. And that was because of what was his name? His coach at the time that got fired was because of his coach. Outside of that, other number 1 overall picks, they start. Bryce Young started. CJ started. When Caleb get drafted this year, 1st of all, he's going to start. If Michael Penix gets drafted 2nd overall, he's going to start. There's no damn debate in that part. But to sit here and say that, hey, they're prohibited Super Bowl contenders now because of one person, that's a lie. Because if stuff goes around, if people get injured around him, and you're asking him to elevate the others around him, and he cannot do that, or he cannot help them mentally elevate their level of play to where they can get on the same page and he can deliver victories, then you got to recant that statement, buddy. That's why I retweeted it. If CJ somehow, like the roster he got now is considered stacked. It is considered stacked. And if he cannot find a way to get more than, let's say they go 9-8 this year, let's just say, and they miss the playoffs, is that not his fault? Just ask for TD defense talk. Is that not CJ's fault? Because according to you, their success is all on him. So shouldn't the failure be on him as well? Because he got a pardon for winning the playoff game in which they dominated, and then when they went to Baltimore and they got dominated, he didn't take the fall for that. It was, they're a young team, they're still learning, you know, the typical things that people say, which is all true, but you can't hand them a piece of pie and not delegate the shit when it drops out to him as well, because he's the face. He is what sells the Houston Texans, right? According to you. It's not the team, it's him. I don't separate that, because just like with Tua, if Tua play like shit, I'm going to say it. But when Tua wins, it ain't all on him. I mean, if people don't catch the ball, don't do their job, no matter what he does out there, he can scream, yell, whatever he gonna do, but it ain't all on him. However, the failure falls directly on him all the time because he's the quarterback. All I'm telling people to do is, if you're gonna say that CJ has made them contenders, then when they fall short, put that same energy on him. Don't sit there and delegate to other people. Don't say, oh, Diggs didn't do this and Pierce didn't do that and Mechie dropped a couple passes and Nico was a no-show. Give all that to CJ. Give it all to him. Because you give him all the praise in terms of being a stud quarterback or top 5, as y'all say already. The kid he was just a rookie. But you're willing to knock out the teeth of Tua to say, well, it took him to his 5th year to get to work out with a quarterback, a quarterback coach that's, trained the likes of this, and this. Okay, so he's taking it serious, which he's been doing since he's been actually healthy. He's taking it serious and becoming a better quarterback. But when he does that, he gets crucified for that. But I guarantee you, CJ had put out, he's going to work out with those guys. Oh, man, I cannot wait to see what happens with CJ. He's going to be this, and the Texans are going to do this. Right? Just trying to make some sense of this, man. That's all I'm trying to do. But let me know what you guys think, man. Is CJ the primary reason why they're successful? Honestly, let me know. If he is, I have no problem with listening to what you have to say. I don't. I just wanted to make sense because to me, a quarterback is a valuable piece, but he's not the entire piece of the puzzle. That's all I'm saying. You guys have a good day. Peace.